Hi, welcome to Art by Annamarie. I'm Annamarie and I have wanted to paint a floating island in watercolour for such a long time. I have been doing a little bit of research, so I've developed a few skills and tips and tricks along the way that you're going to be able to adapt and paint your own kind of floating island. But before we get straight into it, I wanted to update you about my watercolour lessons. I've been asked for so long to make beginner lessons and lessons that show some of the tricks and techniques that I use in my watercolours. But because I travel full time on my narrowboat, it's quite hard to just stop in one town for long enough to actually set up a substantial art lesson. So I've put together some awesome content on Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform and it's not just my own lessons on there, there's so many other categories and so much knowledge being imparted. The best thing about it is if you use my link in the description below, you can actually watch my class for free. Either way, I'm still making amazing content on YouTube, so let's get on with our floating island. Starting with a brown ochre colour, paint a straight line to be your horizon line and also the top of your island. Gently add in some darker brown, then let that set. Add in green to make foliage, and here you want to make sure you put your paintbrush to the side so the strokes are random and straight. Dab in some purple for the leaves. We'll go back over these because this is just for atmosphere and to create an extra layer. Continue to add a different tone of brown to create some gradient and interest in the island. At this point, adding some dabs of purple will create shadows when this layer dries. By now, our foliage layer is ready for some detail. So with a vibrant green, go back in to paint some of the detail. I'm using a sable paintbrush because it'll apply paint that's more controlled than a squirrel paintbrush, but if you only have a squirrel paintbrush you can do this, but you just have to make sure that your paintbrush isn't too wet. I'm thinking that a little hut of some description is essential if you're living on a floating island. So just by adding some rectangles, you can finish a kind of hut. For a lovely flower garden on your floating island, you want to just dab dots of colour. Anything too detailed at this level will just look giant. Remember to let the dots of flowers dry before adding more, or else you'll end up with dots of mud coloured watercolour. Now that my island cliff type layer is dry, I can go in with some darker brown. If I'd done that while it was wet, I wouldn't get the definition and everything would blend into each other. What floating island would be complete without some clouds? So you really have no doubt that the island is floating, and the clouds are some of my favourite things to paint. Using white gouache at the end is the best tip for watercolor artists because it'll allow you to put lighter colors on top of darker ones and make those lighter colors really pop. I couldn't be happier how this turned out. I'm sure you're going to love painting it. This one was so much fun and you can really design your island however you like. So it's really worth giving it a go. Why not start today? And if you love creating and painting, don't forget to check out my Skillshare class. The link will be in the description below. I love seeing your paintings, so you can also follow me on Facebook or Instagram, Art by Annamarie, and don't forget to tag me so that I can see what you've made. Thanks for watching.